Hi guys, happy Saturday. Good morning, good morning. It is early. It's early for me to do a live anyway. I'm an early bird if you know me anyway, but yeah, it's early to sort of do a video, but I tend to, because I've got my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube channel, I tend to now just do like a recording and put it on because I've got different people on different things, so I tend to do it that way and then it gets to everybody else. So today I wanted to, ironically enough and feeling weird about it, talk about me, the way I am, the way I work, my personality, and just really sort of acknowledge like some of the feelings that are okay to have when you're on this journey. My hair is fluffy. It's, when you've just, well, girls will know this, when you've just straightened and dried and it's all there. Mine does anyway. But anyway, if you know me personally, you will know that I'm quite a sarcastic, like jovial person, I'm always up for a laugh and I'm quite sarcastic in my sense of humour. And when I started to do this and said, I'm going to do this full time and this is the job I want to do, and when I did my training and qualifications and all of that, I'd had this massive light bulb moment, which if you've followed me for a while, you'll see on my videos that me talking about it. And I had a Reiki session and somebody said to me, you need to be careful because you're going to miss an opportunity that's something that you need to and want to be doing. And I was like, at the time I'd got my beauty business and I was like, oh my God, are you joking? Like, I'm so busy and all of that. And that night, no word of a lie, I literally had this like bam moment where I sat bolt upright in bed and I was like, oh my God, I know what I'm doing. And something, when you're not doing what you're meant to be doing, something feels off. You can enjoy it, you can earn a good income from it, it can really suit your lifestyle, it can be much easier than like the route that maybe you're meant to go down. In my case, it certainly was, because I'd already qualified in all those things and I'd got like an established business and client base. So it would have been much easier for me to just stay doing what I was doing, but I've got this light bulb moment. And I had that and I went and did my training, and that's how the fertility coach started. So I'd got this image, and when I had that moment, I'd got all these things of like everything I wanted to include, and some of them are way off and some of them are a work in progress. And there's a really exciting announcement coming this weekend, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And I'd almost got it like in front of me, like I could see a website, I could see colours, I could see a theme, I could see like partnerships with different people. And it's all based around what I went through, my experiences, how I felt, all the things I wish I'd knew and I wish I'd known and I'd learnt, and all of the things that I wish I'd had more support on and more advice on. And being really honest, like sometimes that I wish I'd got out my comfort zone and gone and learned something and taken the time to learn that, rather than sometimes aimlessly sitting through social media and forums and websites. And I talk about this all the time, connecting with someone else and their journey and their story, because the reality of the matter is that wasn't going to change anything in my life, because I'd go and buy a certain brand pregnancy test because somebody said that it would work for them, and I'd go and buy a supplement because someone said it worked for them. But again, I talk openly about the fact I never knew what that was going to do for me, and actually, quite worryingly, I never even knew sometimes if it was safe for me, like with my diagnosis, my body. So when I started this business, I'd had this like vision, and it's the first time in my life really it's ever happened that someone or something up there has told me what I was meant to be doing. I'd got the name straight away, I'd got the colours, I'd got everything straight away. It was no like, oh, I don't know, and what shall I do after that? It was like all there, bam, like get going with it. And to the point that I actually burst into tears because I felt like, oh yes, this is my calling, this is what I'm meant to be doing. So I'd done that, and in my beauty business, you know, beauty is a very standard thing. You know, you advertise treatments. Most people know what the treatments are. It's just whether they choose to come to you or someone else, or your pricing or location, whatever's handy for them. And when you start to do a fertility coaching business, it is completely and utterly personal to you. So obviously there's all the things that we need to look at. So number one thing is we look at previous pregnancies, ovulation, all of that. But I combine a lot of the self-work and spiritual work and looking at what we've done in the past, why we think and feel a certain way in the past experiences, how we view ourselves, how we talk to ourselves and about ourselves. Because the whole time that I was trying to conceive, I really kicked myself around the floor and stomped up all over myself. I beat myself up more than anybody or anything else. So that was always going to be a huge part of it for me, because I know that it can really knock the stuffing and the confidence out of you. So that was always going to be a huge part. But to begin with, I'd got this image in my head that had to be this really prim and proper, very, very serious person. Because obviously when you are going through fertility, infertility, whether you've been trying a month and you just feel desperate, whether you've been trying a year, 10 years, you've had miscarriages, you've tried IVF, whatever your story and your journey may be, when you feel like that, you feel like that. And it's not about how anyone wants you to feel or thinks you should feel, or, oh well, you've only been trying that amount of time. All that is a load of shit. It's rubbish. It's how you feel. And there's no one in this world who can tell you that what you feel is wrong. So rule one, how you feel is how you feel. So, sorry, frog in my throat. So I built this image up of very serious, very straight-faced. And yeah, okay, I can see why at first I built that image up. But then when I was talking about me and my journey, my personality comes through and the way I am comes through. And I've done videos where I've laughed. I've done videos where I've cried and sobbed. I've been really open about the fact it affected my marriage. We actually broke up at one point over it. And, it wasn't like a night and he came back. It was 6 months. So... And don't get me wrong, it wasn't just over this, there's other things, because when one thing tends to go wrong, it snowballs and snowballs. And when you don't know how to express yourself and communicate, now I wonder where I ever thought the answers were coming from. But anyway, I digress, and we sorted it. So I've been really raw, really open, really honest. And that's the only way I can be, because I lived and breathed it. And I can't flick that switch when I'm talking about my journey to this straight-faced, cold, almost person. And then when I've thought about it, I don't think anybody wants that. I can't think of anything worse than, there wasn't the opportunity when I was going through the height of my journey and, miscarriages and failed IVFs, and even when I was pregnant with Remy, we didn't have a great time. There was lots of problems with going and checking out movements and serious bleeding, and I just wanted someone to be straight down the line with me and tell me what was going on, what I needed to do, what I could do, what I could have done to change my fertility, change my ovulation. Sometimes even if that is hard and I didn't want to hear it, I just wanted someone who was going to be right, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do. I'm going to be really honest with you, this is probably what we can change, and that stuff we probably can't. And when I analysed it, it was that I was missing. I just wanted someone to be right, yep, straight talking, truthful, open and honest with me. I never had that at all. It was always very cold, and I understand that, when you're going and seeing doctors and gynecologists and, an IVF clinic, it's their job day in, day out. It's very much routine to them. But it's not routine to you on the other end, and I say that all the time. And And one of my biggest, when I first speak to clients and we start our relationship together, they'll say, I just don't feel like I even get any answers out of my appointments because I go in, they're very matter of fact. There's no real emotion or empathy or anything there. And I've come out not really knowing anything else generally other than when the next appointment is. So it's a waiting game from appointment to appointment. And I really think that the industry is just missing that straight talking. So I promised myself that I would be that person because I am in life anyway. I'm very much that person. But I'd always refrained from bringing my sarcastic and my personality to it. And my bit of a jovial side. Because I've made this link in my head that, of course, it's not, you don't joke about it, it's the most serious thing that I've ever gone through, and certainly the most long-winded, heartache I've ever had. And the two just didn't link for me. And then I thought, okay, and I did a TikTok video a few weeks ago on the things that people say to you when you're going through infertility, or if you're struggling, or you've had miscarriages, or whatever your story may be, and put things people said, if you just stop trying, it'll work, and if you stop thinking about it, and when the time's right, and why don't you just adopt, and are you sure you want a baby, and you can borrow mine for an hour. And all the standard things that people say. And now I recognise that a lot of the time people say things out of awkwardness. But when you're in that situation, you just want to be like, do one. Just do one. And that's me being polite. So I did a TikTok video on it. And I wasn't taking the mick out of anyone. I wasn't playing anything down. I just wanted to let out some of the frustration that you feel when you're going through it. And the amount of messages that I had of people that were like, oh my God, yeah, this is exactly, I want to tell people just to do one and to F off and go and disappear and never speak to me again, and that they haven't got a clue. And the more I was speaking to people, the more people were like, yeah, everything you're saying is true. And I thought, okay, yeah, that I need to be that person who does put that side across. So I'll never joke about infertility. It's not a joke. It's the worst thing I've been through. But we can joke sometimes about how people don't get it. And how, for me, one of my jokes that I joke about now, and I couldn't have joked about it at the time, was how emotional I got on Clomid. Oh my God, I was like Devil Woman. But I didn't see it at the time. And if somebody had told me at the time, I'd have ripped their head clean off. But now when I look back, I'm like, oh my God, Mark must have been scared for his life. So what I'm trying to say in all of it is it's okay sometimes to have that hysterical crying one day, and then having a bit of a laugh at yourself, or sometimes the way you've reacted, or we all have, whether it's to do with fertility or not, we all have an argument sometimes maybe with our partner, and afterwards think, probably overreacted a bit there, or have a laugh at yourself because you were so dramatic, or I do anyway, and I'm like, gone off on one, and then afterwards I think so it's okay to be like that and analyse ourselves, and sometimes laugh at ourselves, or the way that we've handled something, whether it be to do with fertility or not, or further down the line, laugh at something that you never thought that you would laugh at. When I think about my labour, oh my word, I never thought I would laugh about it, and it was very scary, and I don't laugh at that part of it at all because it traumatised me. But what I do laugh at, for example, is the anaesthetist came in because I had to have an emergency caesarean, leaned against the lever on the door, and the doors were wide open. So for the whole time they were trying to get baby out, and they tried forceps and all that first. He had to stand against the door because as soon as he let the lever go, otherwise the doors would have just opened on the corridor, and I would have been there, legs in stirrups, to the whole hospital. And now I can laugh about those things. So moral of the story is try not to forget to laugh. And it's not at your story and at the infertility, and we're never taking anything away from that. But try to laugh at whatever you can. And a lot of the time you'll be amazed at how much you realise sometimes you're progressing. So don't lose your personality is my key message, really, because I talk all the time about not finding joy in anything. I didn't find any joy in anything anymore. I didn't enjoy anything. I didn't want to go anywhere, be around anyone. I just wanted to stay at home, be on my own. And in total honesty, just look on the internet and try and find something that was going to change my life. And it didn't, you know. I had to put that work in. I went and started having hypnotherapy and acupuncture and doing lots of work on me and changing things. But yeah, don't lose your personality. Don't lose that part of you and your traits. You might not be able to link it with your fertility and your infertility at one stage because it might be too raw. But you'll be amazed at how time goes on, how you'll be able to connect the two. And when you relive some of the things, your personality will dive in, whether it's that you feel angrier at something, or you can have a little bit of a laugh and joke about something, or the way that you've reacted or your partner's reacted, or that some person has made some comment that they don't understand and they haven't got a clue and they've never been through fertility problems. So really just try and find the joy and the fun in something. And I know that that's really hard, but if you can just start to try and do that, it makes a big difference. So yeah, if you don't follow me over on TikTok, I do share them on my Instagram sometimes, and I generally tend to be like sarcastic about the stuff that people say when you live in and breathe infertility. So yeah, have a great weekend, everybody, and keep your eyes peeled for a new announcement coming this weekend. Take care.